Tell me about Rage in Common, your EP.
Rage in Common. Well, again, finding finding inspiration to write songs wasn't difficult. We all have riffs, our collection of riffs, and tying them together. The challenge was, I guess, just 5 different guys coming together and agreeing on the same thing was a challenge. We're all over the map, which is, it's as much a weakness as it is a strength. Our diversity, essentially. Our tastes are all over the map, from hardcore to death metal to the European metal to hip hop to just pop and rock. Especially for the pop rock sensibilities. We all appreciate good music. So coming down and trying to write a song and structure it and get it arranged and get the right lyrics that kind of represent everyone. Glenn and I have been collaborating a lot more on lyrics on this one, whereas in the past he wrote most of the lyrics because he's just an amazing lyricist. He's such a wordsmith. Where sometimes I want to write something, but he'd come up with something. Wow, that's so much better, and that's exactly what I was trying to talk about. Or try to explain. Whereas now it really is about, okay, what is it we want to do as a band? It's not a solo project. We're all in this together, and as long as everyone's happy with the outcome, we're ready to go. So every song kind of went through that process. Are we happy? Good, move on. Good, move on. Some songs took a little bit longer. Some, I'd say the last 2, I'd say within a year we had 2 new songs, and that was also with Matt. It was kind of like one of the songs was kind of a parting gift. When he left the band, he wrote most of "Protest the Riot." That's on the EP. But the one thing that connected all the songs were the different levels of rage. And then thinking for song titles, they're all angry for all different reasons. There's not one song that doesn't represent anger in one form of another. We were thinking back to some of the old new songs that Absolute Zero had written before we broke up. We basically had an album ready to go, but none of us kept any of the pre-production stuff. Everyone probably just thought, oh, well, this person will have it. Yeah, this guy will have it. Glenn will have it. Joe will have it. So when we finally got together, we said, okay, who's got the pre-production tape? And we all looked at each other and said, we don't have that anymore. So we lost a bunch of songs. I think we hung on to 3 songs that we actually released as a little EP, which was more of an industry EP. And I finally found an old tape that actually I'd scribbled "erase" on it, and I went, "Oh my God, this is it! I hope I didn't erase it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was drunk one night and really angry that I'd quit the band and things didn't quite go the way I wanted to, and it felt like a failure. I was like, I'm going to erase this."
Yeah.
Well, eventually I did record, some songs over it, an album over it. But and believe it or not, on cassette. I was still the cassette guy back then, even. But the last track on the pre-production tape was actually saved, because once the re-recorded stuff had ended, it reverted back to the original recording, and it was a song called "Rage in Common." So when I presented that to the guys, like, oh my God, you guys have to check this out. So I played it. None of the guys even recognized it. They're like, really? That's us? Like, yeah, it was like one of the last songs we wrote back then. And we listened to it again. It's like, okay, yeah, we can hear it. They definitely could tell it was me vocally, but listening to yourself after so many years, with a song that we weren't really that familiar with. We had written it, we had kind of laid it down just so we wouldn't forget. But I don't even think that song we played live. So once it came down to naming the album, "Rage in Common" was the no-brainer. And if we're lucky, we might get to revisiting that song and maybe kind of restructuring it a bit to how we are now.
You guys played with Spugor not long ago. It was Spugor's CD release party. Mm-hmm. And how was that show overall for you?
Oh, that was amazing. Steve and the guys were super, super kind to extend the invitation. We weren't sure exactly when we were going to have an EP release. We were thinking even in the new year. But things kind of moved a little bit quicker towards the end of the year, especially the end of October, early November. And Steve had sent me a message saying, "Hey, are you guys any closer to being ready with the disc? You think it'll be available by November?" So I asked the guys, and we actually thought we could. So we spoke to Steve, and they really wanted us to have our EP release alongside with theirs. So we were really stoked about that. Things, luckily came through. We got the word that we would have the CD ready a week before the show. We were cutting it pretty close, but confident enough that it just came down to production, really, getting the cassettes. Oh my God, getting those 12 cassettes on the brain.
You can't get that out of your head.
CD ready in time, and it all came together. And I wouldn't say that we don't connect with a lot of bands, but we play with a lot of bands that we know. we haven't really had a chance to play with a lot of new bands. I think the newest bands that we played with in the last year was like Redeemer.
Yeah.
We did a show for Headbanging for a Cure, and we met a bunch of cool new bands there, like Will the Ancients. Oh my God, Corrupt was on that bill, and of course Spugor was on that bill. So that was the first time we played with Spugor. So the friendship kind of started to grow from there. And Steve and I chat a lot online, and especially closer to the gig, we were pretty close with regards to going out flyering. I wasn't able to make all the flyering nights, but most of them, and really connected and clicked. Whether it's because we were all kind of doing something in the '90s. But I think it's more, the connection is more now, where Spugor is at and where we're at. We're very compatible in that mindset. We're not really there to show each other up. We're there to kind of support each other and just play some damn good music, because I love Spugor. I remember when Spugor played with Maniac, and I saw them then in the early 2000s. I was like, these guys are amazing, just tight, straight up, in your face. Punk rock, hardcore metal, just amazing. Just Spugor all the way.
There isn't anyone in Toronto quite like them, that's for sure.
No, and a lot of bands have the heaviness, but they don't quite capture the whole package. There's always someone that seems to be lacking, but there's a lot of great local talent. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good bands, but there's also a lot of bands that kind of go, all right, I'm glad you enjoy what you do, but sometimes I worry that we weren't good enough, but with all the kudos we've got after the show, playing with Spugor just gave us that much more confidence. Say, okay, we're doing something good, and we hope to play with more bands that's going to challenge us, and we're going to always want to, be at a level where we're not going to disappoint them, the bands as well as their fans and our friends and fans,
I got a listener online right now. She's from Toronto. Her name is Allie. She wants to know, what are your plans in the coming year?
Well, that's a very good question. Unfortunately, we don't think that far ahead. We're actually just in the middle of trying to organize, I guess our marketing plan, especially online stuff now for promoting the EP. We have a real good friend of the band, Salim, who was a fan first, who publicly suggested that we do kind of like, I guess a greatest hits, kind of re-record some of the older stuff, because he really enjoys how we play the old stuff now. That's something to consider. It's really going to come down to budget and what we can actually afford. Because even though this wasn't, a multi, even a $100,000 product, it still costs quite a bit for us to actually scrounge the money together and do this, especially free up the, get the free time. And Graham was essential in that. He was there for almost all the mixing dates, and he was essential in being the, producer there. So as far as that's concerned, it's really about pushing the EP, getting into as many hands as possible, maybe a video. We definitely have a single picked out, which is Fault Lines. We were pushing that before the album came out, the EP came out. And, so it would be nice to, A, just push the EP as best as possible. B is obviously, hopefully maybe consider either the re-recording of the old stuff, or maybe just get straight to writing new stuff. We're not sure yet. We really don't know.
Listener, his name is David. He's listening from Newcastle, Indiana. He has the same question I have for you, which is, we want to let everyone know about your Facebook page, any website you might have for the band, and
yeah, you can definitely find us on Facebook, the Blackcloud Syndicate. Blackcloud's one word. It represents the entity, that's responsible for all of our bad luck. Joe kind of came up with that back in the day, and we decided to incorporate it and make it a name, to give it an identity. So yeah, that's the Blackcloud on Facebook. So it's obviously was facebook.com/the Blackcloud Syndicate. You can find us on Bandcamp. Even MySpace, I finally fixed up our MySpace. I don't know who uses MySpace anymore, but I managed to remember the login and password and kind of fixed up MySpace.
Yeah.
Reverb Nation, of course, we're on there as well. So we're not that hard to find. There are a lot of these little Blackcloud bands popping up here and there, and that's kind of cool too. Maybe someone will find us by accident and kind of like what we have. But Facebook is the main one, of course, for more of the personal connection. Absolutely, all of our friends and fans and family are on there. Reverb seems to be more connecting with other bands and people who are kind of in tune with what's going on in the industry. And of course, Bandcamp, you can hear our stuff and order Raging Common there. A little bit of a shameless promotion. So yeah, don't be afraid. Download it, order it. We can send you the physical copy. You can download the digital copy as well.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna play as promised. Of course, that's what everyone's waiting for. I'm gonna play a couple tracks from you guys right now, back to back, and probably a little bit later on in the show, before I'm out here at 1 a.m., I'll play another track. 3 tracks for you.
Cool.
3 of your it's 5 on the EP, right?
Yeah, 5 originals. You got it. I don't think we can play the cover. We might get in trouble for that one if it's on air. There you go. All the more reason to check out the album and hear how that cover goes of Billy Idol's Rebel Yell.
All right. Any which 2 tracks do you want me to start off with? Any idea what you prefer?
Well, if you've had a chance to check out the disc, I'll leave it to you. I mean, you played Fault Lines last time. If you want to play Fault Lines again, that's the single, so that's the one we're definitely going to eventually make a video for in the new year.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Cool.
All right, man, I want to thank you very much for doing the interview. It's just about 30 minutes for the interview. It's perfect, man. You said, more than I expected. It went well. I appreciate it. We'll do it again sometime. Yeah, anytime. I mean, we'll switch it up. We'll get another member on later on, once we have an update and you have a chance to slip us in for another interview. Listen, really appreciate everything that you do for music in general, but for the local bands too. So once again, thanks for the chance to get out and reach out to a different fan base, hopefully. So don't be shy. We're very approachable. Hit us up on Facebook and any other media source, and we'll definitely get back to you guys and be in touch. All right, man. Thank you, Miko. I will talk to you soon. Thanks, Mike. Take care. Have a good night. Bye. Bye. All right. That was Miko Zoller of the Blackcloud Syndicate. Let's do same track I played last Sunday night for you here in Hard Beyond Driven. So it is only the second time the band will be getting airplay ever worldwide. This track is called Fault Lines. You're listening to Hard Beyond Driven. This is the franchise of heavy metal on MetalNationRadio.com. United, we rock.
Jeff Somo, and you're listening to Metal Nation Radio. Check it out. Metal Nation Radio.